It was last week when Governor Eddie Calvo urged lawmakers to fund the long-awaited hay plan for the government of Guam employees. And following the first week of the budget sessions, Appropriations Chair Senator Ben Pangelinan offered to meet with Governor Calvo to discuss just that.
And we're encouraged that both Democrats and Republicans are willing to work with us on that issue. We understand that Senator Pangelinan wants to meet to discuss it, and we're happy to continue the dialogue, but ultimately the conversation right now is at the legislature.
The governor's deputy press secretary, Phil Leongruelo, says no meeting has been set just yet, but that isn't to say that the administration is not hopeful that a solution can be reached. Senator Pangelinan has continuously refused interviews with KUAM and did so again today. However, in a release over the weekend, Pangelinan said he hoped to convince the governor in the upcoming meeting that by combining agency appropriations and giving increased flexibility to the executive branch to cover both operations and tax refunds, that there could be enough saved by the executive branch to implement the hay pay raises, continue to timely pay all of the 2013 and future refunds, and maybe even restore COLA for retirees to levels prior to 2008.
I think the governor is willing to continue the dialogue however he can. His goal right now is to find a way to fund the hay study, and the way that he identified was to use a 2% reserve to begin funding it.
BBMR Director John Rios stressed that exact point during the budget session last week. However, Pangelinan says because their government no longer has the ability to borrow for tax refunds, the budget bill reported out of committee appropriates that 2% reserve instead for tax refunds. Pangelinan ultimately says he's willing to hear the governor's plan to ensure that we can stay current on refunds and increase the annual government payroll by $18 million. Leongruelo, meanwhile, says the reserve was in place for deficit reduction, and as announced earlier this year, the deficit has since been eliminated.
So now that the deficit is gone, Governor Calvo is looking for solutions to fund these raises so that our government employees can get just compensation.
Leongruelo, meanwhile, says it all comes down to Pangelinan working with senators on a solution that not only will help all our employees, but will be a win-win situation for both the Guam legislature and the administration. We should add the cost to pay the hay study comes to light as an increase in Section 30 funds has been identified, new information that would require the substituted budget to be amended. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.